Impressive Jewels by Elisa Carter. Elisa Carter has been my consultant since inception of the Ride Along with Vanessa morning show. So go to impressivejewels.net today. Get your little something. You deserve it. This week's episode is sponsored by Organic Sunscreen Moisturizer. Sheer Perfection Moisturizer that can only be found on perfectiondayspa.com. Contact Delia today. Are you tired of being stung by outrageous nail prices? Well, you don't have to worry about that at Queen Bee Nail Hive. Contact Queen Bee herself, servicing the Tampa Bay area. 813-414-1405. That's 813-414-1405. Queen Bee Nail Hive. Come be pollinated.
This is thy kingdom come. Let the spirit of the Holy One pass over. Let your peace cover the earth. Lord, let your will be done. This is the time to take a stand, to let the world know that you can. Tomorrow, but today is the day that you say, I will reign.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Vanessa Klinger, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. Welcome to Spiritually Speaking. So glad that you guys decided to join us tonight. We have a great word for you. As some of you may know, we are in the book of Genesis, and we're going to go through the entirety of the Bible for 2021. So you want to start right now so you won't miss anything. A couple of announcements. Next week, we're going to be having a show, and we're going to just continue on. It's going to be Christmas weekend. So while you're home with your family, turn on Spiritually Speaking, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via the KP Media TV network or via your social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not Instagram because Instagram won't let me, but Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, all stay in love too. So, I'm streaming everywhere, and it will be an honor to have you on and enjoying the show. My great co-host, Michelle Massey Washington, the motivator, will be joining us very shortly. Also, if you want to go out to the website, I am, again, giving away 10 free books a month. You can go out to www.vanessaklinger.com, click the free book button, and complete your information, and I'll send you a free book. So go out to my website and check out the books that I have. Time to Transform, Grace, God's Traveling Companion, and Is That All You Got? Bring It. I'm sure one of them will really minister to your soul and help give you the information that you need to continue your journey. Yeah, so let's bring her in, shall we? Michelle, the motivator, my co-host. Yeah. Hey, co-host, how you doing?
Namaste. I bow to the divine presence in all of you today. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Me too. Yes, it's Christmas. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I know. That's all I can say. I know.
It's just flown by. It is just flown by.
Yes.
Yeah, but so much to be grateful for. I can see that you operating in an attitude of gratitude. Just,
I can't help it. I just can't help it. Yeah, I can't, because it could have been another way. I couldn't have been your co-host today. I could have been co-hosting on the other side. So I'm grateful.
I would have been channeling Michelle.
Oh,
Michelle.
yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's great. I'm glad too, and we are in the book of Genesis. And can you just share with us just a little tidbit just a little tidbit, then we'll take a break and come right in, and you can hit the ground running. So, what? Oh,
Yeah,
I know we're in Genesis, and we've already covered Cain and Abel.
Right, and we're going to chapter 6, where we're going to enter the flood, and we're going to talk about Noah, and we're going to talk about some things that are lining up with the universe right this second. And so it is divine that we are right here at this present time, at this present moment. I am just asking you to share, if you're listening now, to share, because these are some things that we need to know before we enter this new perspective that God is showing us, that we were supposed to be in it anyway, but we got derailed. So the flood is going to kind of show you how this has happened before. And so here we are again, facing those same things, because spiritually, we're still not getting it. Even after all those years back to Noah to this point, we still are sinning, which is missing the mark. So we want to, I'm excited about the word. I really am.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. Okay. I'm ready.
All right, guys. So pull up your phone, your Bible apps. Go out to Google if you don't know, and Google Genesis 6. So the scripture will come up. And get ready. We're going to take a short break. So get you guys prepared. Go grab you something refreshing to drink. Go get whatever you need to get, because when we come back,
pencil and paper. Get pencil and paper. Yes.
I thought I was the only one that had pencil and paper.
No, you need to take notes. Yes.
Yep. You're going to need to take notes. I'm telling you. All right. And then come back and watch it again. So we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going into Genesis 6. So
it's difficult to identify trauma when holding it down is a way of life. Join over 30 speakers as we share our stories and tools to triumph. The No More Trauma Summit is an online free experience. Register today.
Hello, everyone. Vanessa Klinger here, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. Would you like to be a guest on our talk show, Spiritually Speaking, with my co-host, Michelle Massey Washington? Well, go out to the website, www.vanessaklinger.com, complete the form, and your sponsorship includes a guest spot. We look forward to meeting you and highlighting your product, service, or event. Stay in love. Merry Christmas, everyone. Vanessa Klinger here, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. And we have a special Christmas episode Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Christmas Day, right along with Vanessa Morning Show, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via the KP Media TV network. Join me, won't you? Merry Christmas. That's right. We have a special Christmas episode right along with Vanessa and Spiritually Speaking next week. So you guys are going to want to tune in for that. So co-host, I'm ready. I got my pen and my pad. I got Genesis 6. I like the NIV version right over here on my screen over here, and I'm ready. So you guys come on in, getting ready. Let's do it.
Okay. So in verse 6, it begins to talk about the flood. Now, usually when we're talking about the flood, we are literally looking at water, but we want to take it spiritually, and we want to look at the flood of the virus, the flood of all the killings, the police violence. There was just a flood of things that began 2020. And again, 2020 is vision. And so it's hindsight vision. It's being able to see things coming from behind you and knowing that. So it's moving you into a spiritual realm. So in chapter 6, it says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, now you have to make a point there, sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And so right here where we're talking about the sons of God, these are the chosen people. These are not just men. This is mankind. We are all considered the sons of God, because it has nothing to do with male or female. It has to do with you receiving the inheritance. You in first line for the will. Usually the male is first in line for any type of inheritance, the oldest male. So we're looking at God putting us all in line to receive the inheritance, to receive our birthright. And mentally,
Okay.
the sons of God have mentally saw the daughters of man, meaning they are starting to look at things with their eyesight instead of their insight. And so they begin to cohabitate. They begin to take that left brain and that right brain, and they begin to come together, but they came together in bad thoughts. They came together in evil thoughts. They came together and tried to do what the world has done. They've tried to deceive us. They've given us stuff that's not ours. They've tried to condition. And God saw that the spiritual, his people, the spiritual, my people that are called by my name, began to do what man was doing, what the flesh was doing, and not what the spirit was doing. And wickedness began to form. And that's the same thing that's happening right now. Wickedness has begun to form. So God was not good with that. That's not what he created us. He didn't create us for good and evil. He created us for life. And so he began to see that, wait a minute, this is not working. I'm seeing too much racism. I'm seeing too many churchism where we're separating in the church. And he said, there's something that has to be done. And so he said, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always dwell with man. Now he said man, but he's talking about that mentality, that evilness of man. He's not talking about the mankind or those that are chosen or those have chosen to walk with him. He said, I won't always strive with that portion of man, with that mentality of man, with that wickedness of man. He cannot cohabitate with those things. He can't cohabitate with your jealousy, with your selfishness, with your meanness, your gossip. He can't cohabitate with that. And so that's where he was saying that he can't strive with that. He said, for that he also is flesh, that his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants in the earth. Now, when we stop right there, we're talking about those people that are high up, that have decided they could rule over us instead of allowing us to have dominion over our own land. And when I'm talking about land, I'm talking about this. God has given you dominion over your own land. So we were conditioned to think that we were walking in normal circumstances, but nobody chose to ask questions. Why do we do this like that? Why are we required to do that? We just went along. That's that cohabitation. We went along with what man had established instead of what God told us to do. We went right back to that tree and we began to eat from that tree, which he told us not to eat from. And that's what's killing us. That's what's killing us, because we're listening and we're allowing all type of information to come in our gates, and we're following it without challenging it, without studying to see if this is what needs to be done. And so it says, he said he's not going to be able to cohabitate with that. And he said there were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, and men of renown. So it's saying, he's talking about the fruit that is coming from your mental thinking. When you're cohabitating with what man is saying, and then you got over here what God is saying, it's almost like that devil on one shoulder, that angel on one shoulder. And if you're not knowing which way to listen to, it's going to cause you to cohabitate with that. And then you're going to become fruitful in your ways, in your lifestyle, in the things you do. Jump in when you need to, in the things that you do. And it's causing us to derail. Right. So it's just like having children and seeing your children, you've given them all the tools that they need to be successful, and they just derail and they start smoking drugs and they start drinking, and you're like, what can I do about that? And that's what God was saying.
Right. And see, the word wickedness, I learned this from one of my preachers that I was sat under for years ago. wickedness, that word comes from wicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at a wicker chair, it's all twisted. The fibers are twisted in, right? So when I was looking at this scripture here where it said, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, that, like you were saying about your thoughts. See, people think that's all physical. This is all spiritual. See, this is your divine way of thinking, intertwining with your man-made, your human way of thinking, and making it something, making it make sense, and then you give birth to it. You know, even though okay, good example. I'm an accountant, and I have a way where I can skim off the top and everything. Although I want to pay my tithes with it. That's that intertwining wicked way of thinking, and making giving birth to something that's not godly. God, He wants us to give no place to the devil, give no place to that way of thinking, give no place for that in our mental, and so that we won't entertain that and cohabitate with that, with the propensity to actually give birth to something wicked. That's why he said give no place to it. The evilness and wickedness and mean and nasty should have no place dwelling within your soul. That's your mind, your will, and your emotions. And that will keep you from giving birth to wickedness. Go ahead on, co-host.
And also you're looking at wick. Wick is also used to light a fire. So so we're incorporating, intertwining into a fire. Our mentality, we have so much depression and anxiety. We have so much stress. All of this is the cohabitation of, you can only serve one master. So if you're trying to serve what man is saying and what God is saying, it's not going to work. And a house divided is going to fall. I began to tell you that even during the time of this virus, my mentality was challenged. It was challenging to fear or faith. And it's at that point that you have to make that crucial decision. Either I'm going to be scared, or I'm going to stand on my faith, and I'm going to believe what God said. He said I'm healed. I don't care what the symptoms are. I don't care what the doctor says. You have to make a decision at that point that you're challenged by something in your life. I don't care what it is. And as we move into the perspective of where we're about to move on the 21st, things are going to happen immediately. They're going to be in a twinkling of an eye. They're going to come forth so fast. And you've got to be very mindful in your mind what you are thinking, because the Bible is psychological. We're just trying to read it on a physical level of what is happening. But if you really think of it, God says in there, we serve him with his mind. We serve God with our mind. And so we have to be mindful of what's going on. 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day in your mind, you have to be having authority on it. That's where meditation comes in, because with all those thoughts in a day coming forth, everything that's going on in your mind, if you don't take an opportunity to begin to pull out, divide, delete, subtract, that's my book that I'm writing, Mental Equation, where you go into your mind, you subtract, divide, multiply, whatever you need to do to become a sound mind. And so in 6, he said, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. And this is how you know it's a mentality. Listen what it says. And that every imagination of thought of his heart was only evil continually.
Okay, let's talk about it. That's why you see such an influx, right? People think it's just cool. No, it ain't. It's an influx of all of these music and these rap songs. I love rap, but all these songs that are leaning towards where it's totally just the language and everything, and it's just, you can tell it's just been an influx, and we are living in the days of Noah and Revelation. I think it's all like a combination of everything, and I think that every so many hundreds of thousands of years, we come right back around, not even learning from our history, which is
Right. It's a cycle.
stories in the Bible. Now, if
Yeah.
you look at it, you'll be like, no, we still can't get it right. And all Jesus told us to do was love ye one another.
Yes. And after 400 years, 20 times 20 is 400. After 400 years of mental slavery, mental slavery. We've been enslaved by the things that people told us were, we were conditioned by the environment, and we were told that this is how you do it and this is supposed to be the way you do it. But God says, study to show yourself approved. Now, he was not just talking about the Bible. There are so many things that we as the church miss because we're too holy to know about astrology. We're too holy to study the psychology. We're too holy to study scientific facts. All of that makes up the universe. And until we get an open mind that God is showing us himself in all of this, this is a big picture. This is not just a Bible picture. This is the whole picture. God didn't just create the Bible. He created all of this for our glory and for our good and for everything that comes with him. And so we got to come out of this little box that we've closed ourselves in, and you can't do that, and you can't read that, and you can't go to the movies, you can't listen to that. And you have got to define and find where that spiritual line is. Like, we're looking at Trump like he the worst thing that ever happened, but he had to be who he had to be, because in 1 Corinthians 15 it says it was going to be the last Trump. Now, we're listening for a trumpet, but it is some spiritual things, and people won't like it. They don't have to agree with it. It's just how it goes. He was put there, and as he was put there, you're so busy looking at what he's physically saying and doing that you miss the spiritual things that he was doing behind the scenes, the doors that he did open. And so we've got to get our minds set in seeing the inner parts, the spiritual parts, as to what God is doing. There's some good in everything that is happening right now. It may not feel good. You may have lost loved ones. You may have gone through a sickness like I did. Some people have gotten evicted. Some people don't have a job. These are all the things that we were told were normal. Now watch it switch. Watch it reverse. Watch we get the land of milk and honey like we're supposed to have it. Go ahead.
Only if you have sown the seeds, right?
And you awake, right? You have to be awake. Yeah.
Now, because think about it, because all throughout the Bible, they got the prophets. They had famine in the land, people dying, women eating their babies, all this stuff. We everything that we live in ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right.
But make no mistake, all of God's people. They say it shows one, but I believe all of the God's people, the ones who, the prophets, the ones who were right in their head, who knew how to use their prophet, their mentality, provision was made for them. Now,
and in Jeremiah, where God says, before you was in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you were in the matrix, he said, I was going to make you a prophet. You know, this is your prophet.
Right.
Your Christ-mindedness and the prophetic way that you pronounce the things over your life out of your prophet. Most of the time, we don't take responsibility for what we prophesied over our own life, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And so we've got to come to our fulfillment. We've got to come out of these titles and do the work. Apostle, Reverend, Doctor, whoever. If you are not doing the work, that title means absolutely nothing. And so I think God has allowed us to separate from the building of the church so that we could connect with the real temple and the real church so that we can hear what the Spirit is saying, because we're made in his image and we're walking in his imagination, which is the unlimitedness of God. Why are we so limited to the things that we do have and be? Because we're limited in knowing our imagination and our place in space where God has given us. So you had something before we go on?
No. Limited by our mentality. Yep.
Are you good?
Yep.
So
I'm good.
it says in God, it says, okay, so it says every imagination of thoughts of the heart. So now we have to go to from our head, which is where we're moving from now. We're moving in the 3D. 3D is illusional. And we're moving from our head to our heart, because your heart has a mind of its own. And so that is where God begins to
Wait a
talk.
minute,
So
co-host.
the three.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, what I heard you say about the heart was it's the soul's ear. How we, what we, yeah.
It's where we hear that small voice. It's where we hear our next step. See, everybody's trying to see your next step, but you won't see it. You're going to hear it, because the heart is going to begin to speak. Because you know why we're not going to see it? Because our eyes are illusional, and most of us are not in our inner eye. And so God is using the heart, H-E-A-R-T. There's an ear in the middle of the heart. That is the first organ that was created when you were in your mother's womb, and it had its own way of thinking. You would think the brain would have been the first thing, but it wasn't.
It was the heart.
Because we're going to be listening to the heart. So we're moving from the 3D, three-dimensional, which is illusion, and we're moving to the 5D. This is where God brings us together back to the unconditional love. This is where I wrote some notes about some things that's going to happen in the 3D, and I don't want to miss none of it because it was awesome. Okay, so the 5D, the 3D brings about fear, feelings, limitations, lack of interconnecting, working hard to succeed, locked in time and space. And that's where we've been all of this time, in the illusion. But once we transfer on December the 21st into 5D, we're going to be in the faith realm, effortless, oneness, unconditional love, manifestation at a faster rate. We're coming out of time and process. That's why we're saying, ooh, this year really went by fast. Time has sped up because we're going into the eternal realm. There is no time in eternity. It just happened in a twinkling of an eye. Is the only way, or at the speed of light. So there's some things that's going to manifest just when you think it here. Not here, but here. So we got to make a movement tomorrow from here to here.
Right.
And we've got to be able to hear. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I encourage all of you who are watching, who are listening, who are commenting, to really take advantage of tomorrow, because tomorrow is a momentous event. They're calling it the Christmas star. And it's when Saturn and Jupiter conjunct, right? And these are planets. We're all energy, right? So it's the energy, and they're facing off. So what she's saying is, don't be thinking about here, right?
Yes.
Don't be trying to figure out who the Antichrist is, and if Biden the Antichrist or Trump was the Antichrist or Obama. Don't be trying to figure that out. You be trying to tune in and tap in and get turned on to Jesus Christ, okay? So you need to go somewhere, get quiet, look up at the sky, and look at the beautiful star that they can call the Christmas star. And this was the star that led the wise men to find our Savior. So get in your heart so you can hear, and then make your intentions plain. We're crossing over into 2021. Get quiet and say, set your intentions and express gratitude that you survived this year.
That He allowed you to get here. Yes.
And that for such a time as this, you are existent. Why?
Yes.
So you can experience the fullness of God. So take advantage of it now. Go somewhere, girl. I'm going to the beach tomorrow night, girl. I'm going there. I'm looking right at sunset, and I'm gonna watch Jupiter and Saturn conjunct, and I'm just gonna be so grateful that the star is representative of our Savior coming. See, people think people think he's gonna break forth from the clouds and all this stuff. No, it's your mentality that he gonna come back to.
Right.
He gonna come home to you.
Yeah. Yes. And so
No
I like what you
mortality.
said. I like what you said earlier, that Jupiter is a representation of Jesus, and that Saturn is a representation of that satanic mind, that mental
Yep.
disorder, that devil
Yep.
that we
Yep.
have created in our own lives. And
Yep.
it's not a competition between Jesus and the devil, because there's only one power. And so this is
Right.
the time where that the veil becomes so thin between those two, that the spirituality of it takes over. And so you're going to see some people that you've never seen before just come from nowhere with the power. I believe that God's going to call one person to lead in this time. He's always used one person to lead the people to where they need to be. And it's not going to be the name brand preachers that are out here. It's going to be someone that you never heard of, but they're going to be so prophetic in the walk. It's not going to be showy. It's going to be a humble person that's going to lead the people. You always need a leader. You always need a leader, because a leader is going to definitely tap into what God is saying. And so we too need to tap in with the leader so that we can come together and we can hear what they're hearing. I'm not singing that song no more. Whatever you're doing, God, please include me, because I'm already included. I'm in the oneness of God. And that song sounds good, but it was for its time. It's time for us to stop wishing that we were this spiritual being, this spiritual soup. We are that. All you
We are
just have
that.
to do is
We are
be
that.
that.
Just be
Yeah.
that. And in my opinion, I think that the leader that you're referring to is in each and every one of us,
Yes.
because we make up the body.
Right.
So in my opinion, I think that wherever you are, you know, you have been called to be a leader, one who tunes in and taps into spirit and shines a light to the people in your sphere, in your sphere of influence, to lead and guide them home so that they can wake up. So that they can wake
Right.
up, and I think that's why you and I are here. We're waking them up. It's time to wake up. You should have got up hours ago.
And, and so this year has kind of been a shaking. When I wake up
Mm-hmm.
my son, I have to shake him, because it's not
Yeah.
good enough for me to just call him. So it wasn't good enough sometimes for God to have just many a call, but few chose to listen to the call. But God had to
Mm-hmm.
shake us and begin to wake us,
Yep.
because he wants everyone included. You know how we
Mm-hmm.
just separate? We want this person, that person to make it, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
care about that person. That oneness that you're talking about, we do have to find the oneness in us to be a leader for ourselves, so that our light will shine. He said to me, I'm bringing back the light. And so as we go through the rest of the story on Noah, we will find that God said, I'm not going to destroy the earth by water, but I'm going to destroy it by fire. Have we not been experiencing the fire? Have we not been experiencing that the hotness of things that are happening back to back to back to back, and we can't control it? There's nothing you can do about it. You can't do anything about it. So it's allowing us to go back to ourselves and love ourselves and define the greatest version of ourselves. I mean, I've been through some stuff this year, but I love every minute of it, because it has taught me, it has expanded me, it's had open doors. Man, I just can't even explain the feeling that I have inside, regardless of what's going on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
everything has been taken care of. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
is due in my house without a physical income. Everything's been taken care of. I have to share testimonies, because
Come on, girl.
this
I'm
is
sitting on pins and needles. I knew you had a good one. Come on, co-host. Come on. Get the
so.
people excited tonight. Come on.
When I was in the hospital, one of my friends did a GoFundMe account. Now, in the GoFundMe account, he wanted to get $3,000, but we didn't meet that. But that was we got. We was good. So there's a in my city, there's a called Project Reset. And I've taken this for my 2021 mantra or whatever, is Project Reset. And I was behind in my rent. So they paid my rent current up until January. So that was cleared. And so I called my kids' school because the caseworker called me and said they had something for my kids. Now, I don't know how my kids got on the list, call and put them on the list, but they got on the list. And so they called me back and they said, the nurse here, now listen to this. I talked to a counselor, but a nurse knew a company that wanted to sponsor a family. She wanted to know, could they sponsor my kids for Christmas? Now, I just got that information. I mean, a company. And so I didn't know how I was going to get them anything. I wasn't worried about it, but God provided. So they asked my kids for a list, and they didn't put a limit on what the list contained. So, I mean, that's taken care of. Those are the things that I'm saying. When you think in your heart, God goes ahead, way ahead of you, and prepared before you even ask a thing. But it's according to that power. It's according to that power that's working inside of you. I don't get on here to do meditation every morning because I don't have anything to do. I come in here to encourage myself first and to contact with God and to give you also some tools to work. And so I'm operating in the trust. You know, they have something that's called a trust that people set up for their family. I'm in that trust. God set that trust up for me. And so now, as we move into this space and place, you got to get this together. That's right. You got to get this together.
I got to say this now. Now, you know, some of y'all getting excited and shouting and running around the house and praising the Lord, and that's good. But Michelle been professing this all year.
Heart that I've been flooding my heart with, that even before it happened, I knew it was before it happened. I pulled in a driveway just to turn around the other day, and I looked at that house and I said, wow, that is such a beautiful house. And then I heard in my heart, oh, you're gonna have one just like that. What? I was not thinking that. That came from
you know what it was, don't you? That was the future Michelle talking to you.
Yes, and it was a beautiful house.
Why? Because you have been professing that. You have been sending out a verbal vibration, creating your future. So that was your future talking to you. You see what I'm saying?
And I had to switch my energy from the negative. The first thing that we think about is always, I promise you, the first thing out of your head will be something negative. And this is what I had to do. Your consciousness is going to tell you what. And after it tells you what, you got to leave your consciousness and go to your subconscious. Because the next question that your consciousness is going to say, well, how you going to do that? How you going to get that? You know you don't have that. And then they're going to talk about you on this. And what you're doing is not what people usually do. So, and then it starts telling you all of that. So as soon as you get what, leave your consciousness and go directly to your heart and your subconscious and begin to allow God to do it the way he has set it up for you to do.
Right.
And to be and to have every night.
Yep. But see, here's the thing. See, Michelle and I didn't just start here.
Not yesterday.
This is years of being laughed at. Years. Of questioning our own steps. Years of taking risks and seeing it appear to seem to fall through. Years of people saying, why do you think you're gonna do that? Why you saying what's wrong with you? You're weird. And years. But because we allowed ourselves to be ushered through the experiences of our lives. And and even when I remember that man that came to Jesus said, please heal my daughter. He says, but help my unbelief. You know, even when we had a little doubts, he helped our unbelief until we were able to stand in certainty. See, this is a process. You don't just start like this. It says you're given a measure of faith. That faith must be exercised. So you have to start somewhere. Because all those years we listened to, you know, great preachers and teachers, we ain't throwing them under the bus now because they got to start.
No.
You know, but because we allowed ourselves to be open to hear however way God, the Spirit wanted to talk to us, to lead and guide us, and we just did it. We just did it because we were like, well, if I go out, I mean, my motto's always been, if I'm going out, I'm going out swinging. I'm going out doing something, doing my work unto the Lord, serving, being kind. I ain't gonna be evil, mean, wicked, and nasty because something didn't happen the way I thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna just say, okay, well, if that's the way it is, then it's gonna be something else coming. Why? Because of what I've been saying. See, she is experiencing what she's been saying. And because even though the world is just so much wickedness, when she was caught up in that flood of a health crisis, she realized what it was. She was like, no, you're not a health crisis. You're a mental crisis. And she went right within. And came out. Praise God.
It wasn't a health crisis, right? It was a mental virus. This whole thing has been a mental virus because this is your prophet. And we have been prophesying COVID. Even myself, I done had COVID in my mind too, in my mouth too much. And we have we are creators. And we've got to be careful what we say within our hearts. We got to be careful. And I thank all of the people that threw me under the bus. I thank all the people that threw the dirt on me. They didn't know I was a seed and I was going to push through all the dirt that they put on me.
Come on, girl.
Those are the people that made me strong. I thank for all the people that she always going through something. Yeah, I'm going through something because if you're going to be anointed, you're going to be pressed. You're going to be squeezed. You're going to be smashed. You're going to be crushed in order that the oil can come out. So yeah, I go through a bunch of stuff. I do.
Well,
I do.
And think about it. When you're going through, you're cycling through a process, which means you're going to a destination. And these other people are saying she always going through something. They live their life in the comfort zone.
Right.
They don't say, oh,
because you don't go through you don't go through anything if you're not doing anything. Because if you're not, you don't go through anything if you're not doing anything. If you are not in the kingdom doing the work, you ain't gonna go through nothing. Everything just gonna go fine. But when you're in there, when you're in the press, when you're on the front line, when you're trying to get this word out or these tools out and people don't listen and people laugh at you and they turn on your live and then they cut it off when they hear what you're talking about. I got confirmation today from my mentor. Her name is Ivy Springer. She said, God is bigger than your title. He's bigger than you in this little gift. And so it allowed me to feel better about me spreading my wings, coming out of the church and going into meditation, going into astrology, going into Scientology, going into all these places that I was forbidden to go because somebody told me it was demonic. But when I started studying, see, it's just like all you can eat. Everything on the bar you don't like, but you choose what you eat. So I chose the things in these different areas that were beneficial and made plenty of sense to what God was telling me. It was confirmation. So you better come out of that little box of religion because you're going to die there. That's going to be right where you die because the word is living and it goes forth. So
it has to. And see, don't get caught up in the words of Scientology and all this kind of stuff. She allowed herself to be open. See, here's the thing. This ain't your typical Bible study. I keep saying that.
No, it's not.
This is for those who, like, They have everything, but they have a missing piece. They're like, and they keep trying these pieces, and nothing seems to fit and work. And why is it I can't? I'm a living witness. I stumbled around, serving, doing all I needed to do, but couldn't figure it out. And I'm telling you, Pastor Carl Lentz on Super Soul Sunday, y'all can talk about him if you want to. Pastor Carl Lentz, Super Soul Sunday, said the one thing that I needed in 2016 that helped me to make sense of why it wasn't working. And he said, Jesus came for your soul. And when you get your soul right, your behavior will change. And what's your soul? Your mind, your will, and your emotions. So you can be all holy with how you feel. And you can be all holy in your actions. But if your mind is jacked up as raggedy as a mango seed, you're still missing it. And that was my problem. But when he said that, I said, okay, I understand now. That means I need to work on my mind. That means I went deep into meditation. I had been meditating before, but I allowed myself to be open. And let me explain something to y'all. When you finally allow yourself to be open, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I started tracking videos. Neil Donald Walsh with Conversations with God. I was listening to that.
I did too.
All of everybody. When you are open, God will be. And it was like somebody turned the lights on in my soul.
Yes. And
I finally felt as if, okay, that makes sense. See, we're not trying to persuade you or convince you. We're just trying to
give you
enlighten
tools.
you. And for you to go out and find what resonates with you, with your spirit.
Right, because it's just not one way. It's not one way to learn this way. It is the openness of God. God is so multifaceted. He has so many multiplicities of ways of getting information to you. But if you lock or hijack your soul or have somebody to hijack your soul or put yourself in a prison, you are the prison. You have the key. You can unlock your mind. You can change your mind at this present moment. That is the key to unlocking your prison. But you have to maintain, you have to examine, you have to place yourself under the light and see what it is. You got to x-ray yourself. Can nobody on the outside
work out your own salvation.
Yes.
Work out your own salvation.
Yes. And you have to do that. Stop allowing people to determine what's wrong with you. And you need to do this. And you need to do that. And why you not doing that? And why you doing it that way? When you hear that, this is going to be a season of
shut the hell up.
Cut in the way.
Excuse me, co-host.
It's gonna be a cutting away season as you begin to cut away the fat, as you begin to cut away that which doesn't take you to a higher place or serve you. When you begin to take those spiritual scissors and you begin to say, okay, that I can't hear that because see, I'm over here trying to do that. I love you and I'm gonna love you way over here because until you were speaking something that's going to edify me, that's going to increase me, that's going to expand my consciousness, then I'm not acting funny. I'm just on a different road that you have decided not to travel. Now, in this transition in December the 21st, there are still going to be some people who choose to be conditioned, who choose to go back to normal. It's available to you, but choose ye this day that you're going to serve life and you're not going to serve death. Yes.
Right. And you have to. Because see, it's all about what you really want. What is it that you really want? Do you want to be enlightened? Do you want to experience? I just want more of you, Lord. Well, how do you think that's going to happen? God is a spirit. That means He's as we expand in our knowledge of Him, so does He. Yeah, that's why they call it space. God is he's a spirit. You can't contain it. He's in everything, in my opinion. And we
can't limit Him to just some things. And that's kind of what I believe we've done in the church. We've limited God to only being in our services and not in anything else. And that's just too much to put in a box for you to call Him God. That is a form of godliness. And when you deny the power thereof, and a power that cannot be contained or maintained, you can't get more of God. He comes as a whole. You either take the whole thing or you don't get nothing. He is not an on sale God. He is at full price. And if you don't want the full thing, then he's not going to force you, but he's given us this will. He left the will. He said, "Our will be done." He left the will. Come on, y'all. Let's get our birthright. Let's get our stuff and begin to man. And I'm not saying get your stuff back. I'm saying come to this present moment and get your stuff. Come out with great substance. Now you're gonna come out with some things because the kingdom of God is within, and we seek the kingdom first, and all the other things will be added. But if you come out with great substance here, you on your way. You on your way.
Even as your soul prospers. And he said, that's why I love that scripture. Beloved, I wish
above all things
that you prosper and be good. I wish for it. He didn't say it was going to happen for you.
Right. He wanted it to happen for you.
You know, we wish. Co-host and I, we wish for you guys to be enlightened and to expand your consciousness, which is to expand your soul, to prosper your soul. You know, we wish for that, but it's on you. It's you have to decide. I know that there's something more out there. I know that it is. And you know, that you know, she kind of loud, and she kind of slightly weird, but she making sense. That's all that matters. As long as it's going to set you on a journey to seek, right?
Yeah. You gonna find it. If you seek, you gonna find it. It's like a sure treasure. It's a sure treasure. You go find it. That's why he said seek it. And if you look at seek, the first thing it says see, your insight, not your eyesight. Begin to trust those things that are permanent, not the illusional things. Because those are going to pass away. That car, that house, your good looks, your jewelry, all that's not permanent. And so the illusion in 3D is to focus on things instead of focusing on the kingdom, that inner being inside of you. Yeah,
and that's the age we're crossing over. We're crossing over to the age of Aquarius. Love, joy, unconditional love, sharing and kindness, you know, and oneness and you know, mercy and all of those good things. So if you've been perpetrating an evil, mean, wicked, and nasty person, now is your opportunity to take that mask off and be the Jesus follower that you always have been, but you've been perping because you want to try to fit in with everybody. So take that mask off and say, you know what? I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me, and I'm light. Be the light, you know, because it's so rewarding to be a light in a dark place. It really is.
Yes, it is. And so we have to enjoy the light. We've been in the darkness so long.
Yep.
It's time to enjoy the light, because we are the light, and we cannot be hid anymore. We can't be hid.
Right.
So we're coming out. So that's why that's why the great conjunction is happening, because God is pointing us back to him.
To Jesus.
Pointing us back to Jesus. To our Christ-mindedness, and he's putting it's not just one person, it's everybody. Everybody in the entire world will experience this transformation. This is the best. This one's gonna be one of your best Christmases. You're gonna get your gift early. Only tomorrow, God is giving out presents and gifts, and you better be. You know, I challenge you not to even go to work tomorrow. I challenge you to just spend the day with Jesus, because he got some stuff for you, and I wouldn't be distracted by nothing. I just want to be lavished in the light tomorrow. I do. This is just the beginning.
I want to be where you are. Oh, be where you are. You know, it's such a joy to think about this gift. I mean, for us to be born in this time, in this day and age, where we actually get to witness the show. You know, and people always talking about, well, they ain't got no proof that it was real and all that. You know, tomorrow
you'll see. You'll see.
You'll see that I came down here in human form because I loved you so much. You'll see.
What did the fifth dimension say in the 70s? Were they in the 70s?
Yeah, this is
Listen
the
what, yes. But listen at their name, the fifth dimension. And so we're moving into the fifth dimension. And we're seeing the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Now, somebody way back then knew that song was prophetic.
Now, think about this now, because now they've been saying it. We got 1 minute. They've been saying it all throughout the years. In the 70s, they were talking about Jesus Christ, superstar, all that stuff, right? So now it's the thing is, what makes it so exciting now, Michelle, is because of technology, right? So technology has united the whole world. So we have more information of the same information being spread abroad. See, in the 70s, they didn't have it, right? Yes. But now we've got more people that can actually come together in agreement, in harmony, in unison, and actually see.
Access it.
Woo!
Project Reset.
Yes. Well, co-host, we had a great time. And just me and you, I don't care. We had a great time tonight. KP Media TV, thank you so much. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Next week, we're going to have our Christmas show. It's going to be the day, Christmas weekend. And Michelle and I will be right here imparting more information to you. We're going to be talking about too much.
We're going to move a little further. We're going to introduce Noah. We're going to introduce Noah. Noah names mean rest and comfort.
Girl, look at that. Girl, look at that. Woo, 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 woo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Social media, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your comments. Co-host.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I am so blessed and I am honored that I have been chosen to sit beside one of the most greatest anointed women in the universe.
Good Lord, Michelle.
I put you out there, girl. You got to live up to it if you're not there. You got to be that, man.
You forget. I got a recording on my cell phone that say, you just a man. You just a man. You just a man. Keep me.
You elevated. You elevated.
Well, thank you so much. I received that in utmost humility. Thank you so much, my friend. Guys, tune in Friday, right along with Vanessa Morning Show. We have a Christmas special word for you guys. You're going to have your cocoa. You're going to be sitting around with your children. They're going to be running them up. Grab you some cocoa. Go in the room. Turn on the TV or turn on your phone and enjoy right along with Vanessa. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Christmas morning. So we celebrate Jesus. So co-host, I'll see you next week. I'm trying to find my ad here. And until then, I'll see you next week. Guys, thank you so much. And remember, stay in love, everybody.
Bye.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Vanessa Klinger here, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. And we have a special Christmas episode Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Christmas Day, right along with Vanessa Morning Show. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via the KP Media TV network. Join me, won't you? Merry Christmas. We have a special Christmas episode Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Christmas Day, right along with Vanessa Morning Show. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via the KP Media TV network. Join me, won't you? Merry Christmas. Thank you for enjoying the show. If you have an awesome product or service that you would like Vanessa to promote, go to www.vanessaklinger.com/show sponsor and we'll get back to you. We have monthly sponsorship programs, ad slots, all kinds of wonderful great things to promote your product or service. Contact Vanessa today